This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked ones obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Welcome to Spirit's Journey, coming to you live on Truth Frequency Radio and simulcast on Oneness Talk Radio. Your hosts are Patrick and Catherine Andrews.
Join us each week as we explore a wide range of metaphysical topics such as dreams, astrology, intuitive readings, and life purpose. You'll receive practical guidance so that you can live your most awesome life.
Learn more about what we do at intuitiveschool.com and connect with us on Facebook at Spirit's Journey Radio. Hello and welcome to Spirit's Journey. We are coming to you live on Truth Frequency Radio. We are simulcast on Oneness Talk Radio. You can also find us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. We are here in the Heartland, holding the energy for spiritual truth and awareness. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Catherine. Welcome, everyone. But we are continuing our series of presenters that are going to be featured at the Global Spiritual Awakening Conference. It's coming up next weekend, November 16th and 17th. And so today we are so excited to have Marcus and Sheila Gillette, who are known as the channelers for THEO. They share THEO's wisdom through the public, THEO experiences, television and radio appearances worldwide, and in several live and online mentoring programs. They're the co-authors of The Soul Truth, A Guide to Inner Peace. And Sheila is also the author of her first groundbreaking book, The Fifth Dimension Channels to a New Reality. You may also recognize Sheila and THEO from the Abraham Hicks publications as the mentors to Esther, as she opened to channeling Abraham back in 1984. So welcome, Marcus and Sheila.
Hi, it's good to be with you and with your listeners. It's such a treat to be able to share the wisdom of THEO with all who have ears to hear. Marcus and I have been working together now for 23 years, which is really a wonderful experience to travel the world and to share the wisdom that comes through the group of 12 archangels known as THEO.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us on. We're really delighted to be here, Catherine and Patrick. This is going to be some fun. It's going to be a good hour.
Oh, yeah, you're very welcome. We're very excited to be able to have this discussion with you.
And we are opening.
I have to clarify one thing. Sheila is the channel for THEO, not me. I just want to make that clear in the introduction.
That's fine.
Well,
I'd love to be able to channel THEO, but
well, so you guys, I consider you guys a power couple. Now, do you know what that means?
No, but we want to hear.
Well, so, I mean, you just said you've been working together 23 years, which is amazing. That's almost as long as my husband and I have been working together. And so this idea of power couples is when two people who support each other, they don't, dwell in the weakness or bring it down, but they support each other so that each can become the greatest they can be. And so we find this a lot, especially in metaphysical realms, where you have these couples and each is supporting each other to do amazing work in the world. And they each have just as important pieces as the other, whether you specifically channel THEO or not. You know, I consider it this, you're a big support in that process. Do you kind of relate to that idea of power couple in that sense?
I absolutely do, because we work together and we work together really well. And as you said, very supportive of the work and each other, and make each other better. You know, to be in a relationship that really supports you to be your best self is always a blessing.
Yeah, we do have so much fun working together, guys. I appreciate your recognition of that. And, for me, it's just great because I have the best job in the world. One of my main jobs is just be present and ask really good questions that people find interesting of THEO, and then the information that comes forth, and assisting people in getting as much information from THEO that they need to hear. So that's my job basically, and it's a very, very rewarding and super fun job to do, and we have a great time doing it for sure.
So now I'm curious, did you guys get into this before you met, or tell us the journey of how you got involved with channeling THEO and how you met and how that evolved?
In 1969, I had a near-death experience that was a catalyst for my opening. I had pulmonary embolus after the birth of a child, and my lungs were non-functional. I could not breathe, and I was in intensive care, and I knew if I closed my eyes, I wouldn't open them again. And so I just kept saying, please, God, give me a job. I'll do anything. I had 2 small children at home and a brand new baby, and I wanted to stay and be here for them. And so that was my mantra. I wasn't being given any medications or drugs of any kind because they were giving me anticoagulants so there wouldn't be any more clotting, blood clots to go into my lungs. So I was completely aware of what was happening to me. And I just rigidly was holding on to life, and the room became extremely bright. And I looked at the foot of my bed, and Jesus was standing there. And of course, you can imagine, I was like, oh, wow, well, this is important. And I was mesmerized by his hazel green eyes and his full presence of such love. And he took his arms and crossed them. And when he did so, he smiled. And I heard inside my inner hearing, like we hear our own thoughts, but it was a very distinct male voice that said, remember, my child, you are loved. And at that point, I felt as if my crown had opened up. And I liken it to warm honey because it just felt like this warmth started seeping down through every cell of my body. And as it went through the trunk of my body, I felt as if I could take a deep breath. And I started getting better. This was a moment out of time. As I'm speaking to you about it, it's as if it just happened. That's how clear it is. And it was 50 years ago. And about 6 months after I was out of the hospital and could hold energy, I started having all kinds of psychic phenomena happening to me, internally, externally. And I could do automatic writing. I had strong telepathy. My bed levitated in the middle of the night. Spirit wanted to talk to me. And then I went into a trance state and began speaking and became a direct voice trance medium. That was back in the time before the word channeling was ever used for this kind of work. And I began there. So I have been doing this work for 50 years and worked with people all over the world. And THEO has counseled and taught. And as you said, we do mentoring classes. And one of the wonderful things as I opened up, I didn't have anybody in 1969 and 70 that would mentor me, that was doing the things I was doing. And it wasn't openly spoken about. So the angels were my teachers. And then I worked with scientists and was tested for my psychic ability in 1976, which really gave me like the stamp of approval that said, you're not crazy, you're psychic. Mm-hmm. And that was really a nice thing to have because, as I said, these weren't topics that were openly talked about as they are today. And so I worked with private clients for a number of years, and then Marcus and I met and knew we were to work together and do this work together. So that's how it's evolved.
Wow. So you definitely trailblazed this path for a lot of people to follow, including Abraham Hicks. So that's amazing, Sheila, and awesome work. So I would love to continue with questions, but we have a couple callers. And so we're going to open it up to a caller if you guys are open to that right now.
Sure.
Okay. So we did want to mention that we are accepting calls during this show. And so the call-in number in the United States is 213-233-3998. And if you're in the UK, it is 44203-393-2871. So it looks like we have Denise from Beverly Hills, California. So, Denise, are you there with us?
Are you there, Denise?
I might clarify if
All right.
if they're calling to ask Theo questions or us questions. Because Theo isn't here yet.
Oh,
Okay.
I can invite them to come in.
So, Denise, what kind of a question do you have? Is it for Theo or for Sheila and Marcus?
Well, it was for Theo, but since we have wonderful Sheila and Marcus, I'll direct it there. Unless Theo can come in. What would you like?
Well, we were going to do that later, but it'll take just a few moments.
Do you want to just ask us, Denise, and you can call back and talk to
Sure.
Theo when Sheila comes in, when Theo comes in for the second half of the show?
Sure.
Yeah, so Denise, if you want to just
Sure.
stay on the
So-
line, we can come back to you if you want when Theo's
Okay,
on.
that would be great. I'd love that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And so we have also, looks like Linda from Wisconsin. So, Linda, are you with us?
Hi, I was hoping to talk to Theo also, but I can wait.
All right. So we will come back to you then.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Nobody wants to talk about Sheila. Okay.
I wonder,
I
if you
had
guys
a
have
feeling. Most
That's
callers
funny.
want to talk to Theo.
That's funny, right?
Well, it
there.
is such
we're
a
used
unique
to this,
experience.
aren't we?
I mean, I can understand why.
So I'm curious, guys. I'm, interested in the channeling of the fact that you channel these archangelic beings. So a lot of times I've spoken with people who channel, and the person they're channeling is just simply a disincarnate entity. In other words, somebody who has been in a body and decided they want to help from the other side. Now, your experience with who you're channeling is a little different. So maybe you could talk about these angelic entities.
Yes, when Theo came through initially, they said we are 12 archangels, and we will be known collectively by the name Theo, because they said they would not identify singularly, because the message was what was important and not the messenger. So they will not identify who the 12 are. I have a feeling myself, but they won't give names because they want people to listen to the message and not get caught up in the who. So, and like I said, they've been coming through now for all of these years, instructing us about this time we're living in now and all the changes of consciousness that are coming forth, and about the fifth dimensionary energy. So the difference being is that they said they're direct messengers from God. They're here as mentors and teachers for a consciousness shift that humans have not experienced ever before, and we're ready now to open up to our own divine mastery. And so I would say, and Marcus, you can have an opinion as well, but I would say that would probably be the main difference, that they've come here on a mission to support our expanded awareness that each and every one of us is a divine master being having a human experience.
Yeah, I asked recently. I asked Theo. We're doing a new book and a video training program called The Art of Relationship. Angelic insights into creating soulful human connections. And as at the very beginning of the program, I asked Theo, guys, I asked them, as archangels, never before embodied, how is it that you are so incredibly wise and laser-like with the guidance and the insight that you give us about relationships in the human realm? And they said, we are very good observers. So we're getting this higher perspective from the non-physical, from archangelic beings, observing us as human beings and saying, you might want to consider doing it this way, or you might want to consider doing that way if you want to really, really feel that deep connectedness and self-love that Theo's teachings are all about.
So now an angel, that is really the definition of an angel, is the angels are direct messengers from the Creator, correct? Would that be a good way of describing it?
That's how they described it, yes.
Okay. Because from a lot of our work, I'm familiar with the idea that before we came into bodies, that we spent a lot of time observing also. So have you learned in your working with THEO, like what would the difference be between beings in the angelic realm and what we might be considered like soul beings or spiritual beings? You know, what would be the differences between like our experience and their experience?
Well, what they say is, number one, they've not been embodied to have the human experience, so they learn that through us. And they also say that one is not greater than another, that we're all divine master beings on a soul level, and we've chosen this human experience, this earthly experience, but the earth experience is only one choice, that there are billions of choices. Even in our solar system, there's billions of planets that could sustain life. And then, of course, if we go outside our universe, there are probably billions of universes, and that we're not limited. And they say we have a very myopic viewpoint that the Earth is the only place there is, you know, the only thing there is. And oftentimes when people have asked them about extraterrestrials and aliens, if you would, and they'll say, can you imagine that you are them? That's one of the choices that we have. So I think what they're broadening our scope in is that we're more than we think we are. And they say our soul is much larger than these physical bodies. It's all energy. And that we've just chosen this body, this earth suit, to navigate this planet. And that it's a blessing, and that it's miraculous that we're all here in these bodies. It's kind of like we won the lottery to get a body. So we should cherish it.
Yeah, well, I think what you're saying is going to be comforting to a lot of people who want to get off this planet and maybe go somewhere else, that there's other choices out there. This isn't it. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I want this to be my last lifetime. You know, they're just tired of this earthly cycle. So it is, though, even with all the problems going on in the world, we're constantly being reminded that at the same time, we're living in this amazing period of opening of consciousness. And so it seems like that's one of the messages coming through. So what kind of perspective or hope can you give on people who are looking at the world and saying, it's just a complete mess?
Well, it's a complete mess, and it's chaotic, and it's necessary. THEO's been talking about this time for 40 years. The Fifth Dimension book is about this time we're living in now. That the Fifth Dimension energy, it's a vibrational frequency we are a part of now that surrounds the Earth. There are 12 dimensions, and we'll go through the fifth and the sixth in the physical experience, but the others are in the etheric realms. And we'll be navigating all of that at once. That's our multidimensionality. But what is happening now is all of the old structures are dissolving. They don't work. We are a global species. And this is our home planet for now. And that we need to all come together in a commonality and a recognition that we are one. So what's interesting is that they're talking about it's an inside out. The chaos we're seeing externally is an internal process that they brought forth a program called Soul Integration, a protocol on how to release limiting beliefs, the beliefs that we are not divine master beings, all of the beliefs of the not enoughnesses, to come into a solid state of unconditional love, inwardly and externally, that will bring peace on our planet.
Yeah, there's also a question that THEO asks us sometimes, guys, that they'll say, can you imagine that everything is unfolding perfectly? So this thing that we perceive as a mess, in fact, there's actually some sort of an organized intelligence to it, a purpose for it. that leads us into a much higher vibration way of living. As Sheila said, Theo's been talking about the fifth dimension now for several decades. So they talk about us in the soul integration process that Sheila was talking about, which are Theo's core teachings on enlightenment, essentially, moving into wholeness, moving into that vibrational state that they talk about unconditional love as a vibrational state of being. So being that it's an inside-out job, as we all really get tapped into our source, to our higher guidance, to our higher self, if you will, to our angelic guidance, everything starts to slow down around us a little bit. We are not reactive. All the craziness that's going on, the mess, as you, I think, accurately, or at least from a certain perspective, it looks like it's a mess. But the fact is that we don't have to get tapped into that if we focus in on the inner world, the inner connectivity, the inner integrative process, where we can become that calm, that calm in the eye of the hurricane going on around us. And Theo calls it being soul-centered. And as more and more of us on this planet do this work, this inner work, really tap into this heightening of this inner technology, if you will, things begin to change. They begin to change all around us, within us, all around us, in our external life, and ultimately throughout the world. And I think that what we'll see coming, based upon Theo's insights into this, is things are going to change dramatically starting next year and beyond as it relates to what we see happening on the planet right now, and how they see this all unvolving. And can you imagine that all the craziness that's going on, whether it be in the United States or around the world, that there are certain people who are playing their roles perfectly as catalysts for this massive change that's coming up, right?
Yeah.
It's just a different way of perceiving.
And those people that you were talking about, Catherine, about I don't want to come back again and stuff. Things aren't working out, or there's these repetitive patterns in their life that keep them from living the life they want to live. They have a belief that life is happening to them.
Exactly.
Why is this happening to me? And shifting that question to why is this happening for me will give one a different perspective, and moving through all those places where we hold beliefs about ourselves that just simply aren't true. Like Theo said, yes, events happen, and they can be minor or they can be horrific, that we then create or adopt a belief about ourselves that we're not lovable, we're not worthy, all of those things. And those beliefs can be changed. The events won't change. That's history. Those things happened. But our perception about them can change in the sense of what's the blessing from it? What's the gift? I've become the strong person I am today because of that. We just shift the way we think about it and how we bring it forward and rewrite that script. It can take hours, and it should take hours to talk about this. But if you shift that perception, it's like the thermostat on your wall. If you just turn the dial a little bit, you change the temperature in your house. Well, you have that internal thermostat called perception. And if you just shift it just a little bit, it'll change the trajectory of your life forever. And imagine living a life that you could enjoy, that the law of attraction's working for you. The secret is it's always working for you. The law of attraction is always working. It's not discerning if it's creating something you would love or it's creating something you don't love, because it's what you think most about. Words are things, thoughts are things. That's a creative process. So what do you think about most? Like Theo says, you may be putting out all the good thoughts and all the good desires for things, but what's the second thought? Most often, that's the thought that gives resistance to all that goodness being part of your life.
Well, and they added the second thought, and with that second thought comes a feeling. And that feeling of lack of belief is the thing that holds people back from really achieving what they want to achieve. So it's a feeling of moving in, taking the thoughts, moving them into the feeling place, and projecting that and being in that feeling of it already being manifest. So the feeling part is like the supercharger to all this. You know, the thoughts are great, and yes, we do become that which we think about most of the time, particularly when there is a feeling of as if this, or there's a feeling of it already being manifest, and that's what ultimately builds that bridge into it becoming our reality.
And the other thing is belief. They said those things won't come if you don't believe it. That's the greatest resistance and barrier. So they often instruct us to go inside when there's something we really want. We want more money. We want a new job, whatever. We want a new house, a car, whatever our wants are. We work on the deservability. But the other piece is, can we take it inside and ask our higher power?
Right, exactly.
Do I believe this? Do I believe it? Do I believe in its possibility? And your higher power knows. You'll know just by asking that internal question if whatever it is that you desire, you really want, or that you can let in. So
well,
it's an inside-out job.
That's a wonderful insight. So we will be taking calls. So if you're on the line, please be patient, and we'll get back to you second half. Call-in number is 213-233-3998. This is Spirit's Journey coming to you on Truth Frequency Radio. We'll see you on the other side.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Sheila? Back.
Welcome back, everyone. And we're going to be taking callers the second half of the show. So again, 213-233-3998. Marcus and Sheila Gillette are so welcoming to allow callers today. So Marcus, is THEO going to be coming in the second half for people to call in?
Well, yeah. Why don't we have Sheila just explain for a minute how THEO comes in through her, and then Sheila, if you're ready, we'll invite THEO in. How's that sound?
Fantastic.
That would be perfect. Well, THEO has always come in the right side of my body. They take over my vocal cords and then the rest of my body. It's an energy shift, and what I do is I just move over. It's like when you give your seat to another person and you move to the next one. That's the best way I can describe it. I've been doing this so many years and certainly trust THEO implicitly. So it's very comfortable for me to allow that to happen. So it's my pleasure to be able to share THEO with all of you and for them to answer our questions. So it takes just a moment. I'll invite them to come in, and then they'll speak. So it takes just a second.
Wonderful. And just to remind, as she's getting ready, Marcus and Sheila will be doing a presentation for the online Global Spiritual Awakening Conference. That's November 16th and 17th. There's links on the intuitiveschool.com website, or you can go directly to globalspiritualawakeningconference.com and hear a lineup of amazing speakers, including people we've had on the past month or so: Dan Millman, Alan Cohen, Dee Wallace. Patrick will be doing a singing bowl ceremony. I'll be talking as well on life purpose. So it's an event you don't want to miss. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. It's all online.
So we do have some callers waiting, but also one more time, the call-in number in the United States is 213-233-3998. In the UK, it is 44203-393 2871.
It is the beginning, is it not?
It is. Welcome, Theo.
We are appreciative of the opportunity to be of service unto you. You may ask?
I'll just ask for a quick question or a quick message, and I'll turn it over to Catherine and Patrick and the callers. Theo, do you have a message for our listeners today?
This is a time of grand change and the completion of the 2019 year. Review a bit of what has been in your life up until now and the growth that has been accomplished. And those things that there's a finishing, a completion for the year to come. Allow that to evolve and then plant the seeds, the desires, the ideas for the year of 2020. You may ask?
Wonderful. Thank you, Theo. That was beautiful. So we're going to call our first person up, Denise from California.
Yes.
Denise, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you. And thank you for calling on me. Hi, Theo. Boy, it's so nice to be with you again in this format. It's been a long time. Thank you for all of your help. Like many people, my particular situation is that I'm a ski instructor who got hit at 70 miles an hour, so I've been undergoing medical care for a year and a half, and I think we're getting toward the end. I'm in Sun Valley, Idaho, but I ended up in Texas with concussion work and various other things. So through unexpected situations and circumstances, these changes have occurred. I think I'm going back to Idaho, but I really have no sense. Does it feel like I'm going back there to restart a new beginning of a new life of some sort, doing something else? I can't do what I was doing before or anything else. And that would relate and help anyone else who's had unexpected changes and re-leveling.
It can happen in an instant, as it did with you, a recalibration, if you would, a change. And the choice to go to Idaho, of course, is yours. It is a place that you love. And you could be of assistance to those who've had life-changing circumstances, for there's been much learning and growth through this process of rehabilitation and change. And through one's own experience, a story of survival, of alignment to soul connection, which is so for you, isn't it? You became,
yes.
Even though your beliefs were such in a spiritual bent, you have now lived in this experience to be more fully connected to your divine essence and your empathy and awarenesses. So the choice of place, of course, is yours. You may start this in Idaho, but not limited to it.
Just feeling a little undirected, like I don't have a sense of what or where yet. Am I still changing?
You are, but you will be always evolving. So the sense is you've learned to meditate even deeper, but sit with this. Take it inside. Travel there. Feel the feeling if it is your place. Take the opportunity to go there and have a sense of it, rather than to sit and wonder, is this my energetic place? We see that it can be, if you so choose it, but it's not. It could be a base, but we see you more global. We see you more connected and taking your information, your knowledge out in the world more.
Mm-hmm. That sounds inspiring. Thank you. And may I have an attunement, please?
Yes. You've done and you're asking. I know that is the blessing in the experience that you had.
Oh,
that you now have
that was
this knowledge.
that feels so wonderful. Thank you for putting that piece in, and thank you everybody for calling on me.
Oh, you're very
Much love,
welcome.
Theo.
Thank you,
Denise.
Denise.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the
Thanks.
next caller. We have Linda from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Are you there, Linda?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the privilege to speak to Theo. My question, it's kind of twofold. The first one is, I always wondered, the aliens or ETs or whatever you call them, are they up in the future?
They're present in the now. Understand this, time is energy. Truly, it is. You have linear time. You have your clocks and your calendars and your appointments. And it is a linear way of thinking from light to dark and the passage of day to week to month. But ultimately, the energetic field is all around you and happening all at once. But the aliens, as you speak of them, or extraterrestrials, have always been here. It's just that the consciousness, the awareness in the human experience and mind will be more accepting of that, as you call the future, but it is not long off.
Okay.
And they're not to harm.
The other question is, I am blessed to be able to channel some poetry, but I need, and I can feel when it comes in. How do I get it so that it's on a more consistent basis?
You make it welcome. You have a belief that it will just come sporadically. You can ask for it, and the asking it will be given. And the poetry, the prose, there's a message in this that should be shared. So you will have a collection that you can publish and share with the world.
Okay. I just wanted to know if I could at any time learn to channel like you do, like Sheila does.
You are doing it already. Understand this, that you are channeling as you are writing. There will be times you will hear the words before they are written, and it will develop that you will speak the words, but it would be in your own voice.
Okay. Thank you very much. That answers a lot of questions, and I truly appreciate the answer.
All right. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Linda.
Linda. We have another caller we're going to go to from Massachusetts. We don't have the name. Are you there? From Massachusetts. Hello? Hello? It looks like it's a wireless.
Hi.
Oh, there you are.
There. Hi. Welcome.
Hi. I'm very familiar with Theo and glad to be here. I just wanted to touch on a bit of the last question about channeling. I'm actually hearing chants and seeing things. Is that my choice? Do I put a stop to it, or should that be something I need to be more open to?
Allow the openness to it, for guidance is present around you. You've asked for it, now it is present. So what you do is it refines. You recognize that you are a visual learner, so visions are your way to gain information. And then there will be words put to it. The chants are vibrational shifting. Sound is very important in vibration. Music to spirit is very important for those hertz and megahertz a raising vibration internally for you as well. So be not afraid of it, but know that you can choose to do it or not. You have the power to allow for it or not allow it.
Thank you,
It's a
Theo.
choice.
I appreciate you so much.
Okay. Did you have another question, or do you feel complete with that?
I just want to know, there's a lot of people channeling the collective, and I wondered if they're all one collective, and then they just take a different vibrational frequency in expressing their message.
That's an easy word to use that's compatible to the human mind is collective. And so there are different vibrations for different people that aligns with them. But there's a similarity of messages, there not?
Yes.
Theo, I have a follow-up question, if I may, regarding channeling and people that are opening up now. A lot of people are getting, you've been mentioning that the veils are thinning between the dimensions and that more people are opening up to these amazing experiences. And I'd like you to just share with us how we are always in control and there is no reason to fear anything, specifically fearing the unknown as we begin opening to these experiences. Could you share a little bit with us about that, please?
It is to understand that you are all divine master beings and that you have chosen to be embodied in those who wish to teach in and through you in the sense of channeling are asking for permission, but you have the power to allow it or not. Understand you've chosen this lifetime for your soul's journey. And these are precious moments of your life experience. So to invite others who are not embodied to participate, it's a gift you give them. And so there's a tendency to think that one is lesser than those who come to speak, and that is not so. Remember, you are a divine master being, and that you are connected and communicative with that multidimensionality, but you decide when, where, and for how long. You have the power. Nothing can come through or to you without your permission.
Wonderful. So, Theo, I have a question. We're raising a teenager right now, and what advice would you give for parents raising kids in this day of technology? How do we teach them the spirituality? Any guidance for educating our youth?
Sharing what you know when they ask, but living your integrity, your authenticity, that truth, being an example. Children are very observant. So the teaching comes by being that person, doing your integrative work, living with integrity, all your core values, teaches them how to live from core values. Technology can be very beneficial. It's come forth on the planet now to give communication between you. So it is with anything and everything. As the telephone was developed, there were parents that worried about their children talking on the telephone too much. So with every new invention or innovation, there's been concerns about what it would do to society, and it's enhanced and expanded societal connection. But being aware of how it's used, speaking about what is appropriate and inappropriate, showing them that they can have boundaries with it, not demanding, but letting them choose, noting that they are learning from this. But personal interaction with each other is extremely important in communication, not to be consumed by the technology itself. Human interaction is equally important.
Thank you.
So, Theo, I don't have a specific question in mind, but I do feel moved to ask if you have a specific message for me today.
There are many things opening now for you. There are many ideas and thoughts. Write them down. Get the clarity of what you want. It will be as if a light bulb is behind the ideas to focus on and prioritize. Trust that. For the confusion comes with so many thoughts. That is why it is important to get it out of your head and onto paper. And then you'll have your clarity.
I can definitely relate to that. Thank you.
Wonderful. It looks like we have Linda, who has another question for Theo. Linda?
No, I just called in. I'm sorry, I just called back. I had gotten another call, and I don't really have another question, but thank you very, very much again.
Oh, okay.
All right, you are very welcome.
Well, you just opened it up for me to ask another question. So, and this will be the last one. But we know a lot of healers, metaphysical people that are trying to put these metaphysical, spiritual skills into a business. And a lot of them are struggling, feeling like they can't charge enough for their services, whatever. So do you have any guidance or messages for people on the metaphysical path that are trying to build businesses and bring this into the world in a way that sustains them?
So it's a change of thinking, isn't it? So if you are expending your time in another job, you would be paid for your time, wouldn't you?
Yes.
So you're sharing your time with others with the gifts that you have. That's what beings do in a job. They have particular gifts that they use at a workplace that is of service to the company and to the individuals that are there. This is no different. There's a mindset that if one is doing spiritual work, it should be free. People are not coming to you wanting something from you without an equal exchange energy. The equal exchange process in your society predominantly is money. And understand that beings value more what they spend their money on than they do when it's free. So is your message, is your work that exchange of current energetic currency? And these are your precious life moments that they're paying for.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a little bit less than 5 minutes left in the show. I think we have time for one more caller. So we're going to take on Carla from Florida. Carla, are you there with us?
Hi, Theo and Sheila and Marcus. Thank you for taking my call. I was just listening in, and I just wanted to know if Theo could just give me a general reading. I don't really have a specific question. Thank you.
So there have been many changes for you, and as such, going forward into the world as a frontiers person, exploration, and much has been found on the inner. And now there's a readiness to lay the groundwork in 2020 for your healing work in the world. You've had enough experience now behind you and evidence of your capabilities. Step into that fully now. You are ready. There's an asking.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Carla. I think we do have time for one more. We're going to go ahead and switch over to Mara. Mara, are you there with us? From Massachusetts.
Hello, Mara.
So I'm glad actually that I'm listening, because I feel like I am going to, in 2020, do a channel journaling workshop. I don't know if you can give me more insight on that, whether you feel I'm ready for that, to bring that out into the community.
We see that you are ready.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay.
It's time to share the knowledge, isn't it?
Places around here near me in Massachusetts.
There's a great opening that's occurring now, and there are those who desire and wish guidance, and you are one to share such.
Okay. All right. That's what I figured, but I just wanted to touch base and get an idea, because I have a book coming out as well in 2020 at some point.
It's a good calling card.
All right, Mara.
Say that again.
Mara. Oh, she said it's a good calling card for the book.
Thank you.
Looks like you got some good validation there, Mara, to get out there and do your stuff. So, wow.
I will.
Felt, yeah, and I've totally felt this vibrational shift the second half as Theo came in. So what a gift. Thank you, guys, for doing that on the show today.
So any final thoughts, Theo? We have about a minute left, less than a minute.
Understanding this is a time of grand change that you've all chosen to be a part of, to be incarnate for, to address and be the awareness of all that you can be, the divine master that you are, unencumbered from the past or beliefs that have held you in the past that no longer need to. Address that divinity. If you could see ourselves as we see you, there would be no discontent. We are complete for this moment. God's love unto you.
And unto you, Theo.
Good day.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.
And please thank Sheila for us, too. We love having all of you with us, so please connect with us on Facebook at Spirit's Journey Radio. Be sure to like our page. This has been Spirit's Journey on Truth Frequency Radio, simulcast on One Talk Radio. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Catherine. We'll see you next week. And don't forget the Global